Can your standards be too high? Yo, I am so corny. I really just did that in front of her. Welcome to my page, girl. What's up, it's Rika. Okay, yeah, so the topic, can your standards be too high? Yes and no. Okay, I'm going to tell you why I think that. But first, I'm going to read you a comment that this girl sent me on Facebook. Her opinion, the nerve. We're going to break down her comment, and you'll see why I say yes and no, okay? So she goes on to say, some standards are too high. They're not standards they hold for themselves, or they've created an elaborate ruse to avoid any meaningful relationship because they're afraid. You should always keep your standards high, just not too high. So let's break that down, because I do not agree with her. But I also agree with her, okay? She first says some standards are too high. Well, that is not my job to tell you. That's not her job to tell you. That's not society's job. That's not your parents' job to tell you about your standards. Let me tell you something. You are allowed to get what you want out of life, as long as you work for it, okay? There's like a sowing and reaping process out here in this universe, right? So you're allowed to get what it is that you want. I just hope that it's healthy and happy and you're not hurting anybody. If you're trying to hurt somebody, that's not allowed, okay? So it's not anybody's job to tell you that. Now, she goes on to say, some people's standards, they don't hold for themselves, meaning like you may have standards, like you want somebody to have been a straight A student, but you were an F student, so, okay. So I will say this, every standard that I have for a guy, if I ever decide to date again, maybe 2075, all the standards that I have literally are everything that I have. Great credit score, I own a home, I don't have kids, I come from a 2-parent household, I believe in God and actually have a true relationship with God. So these are standards that I would hold and would want the next guy I date to have, and I have them. So I would agree that you should probably have what you require. However, still not my job to tell you. Life will show you if that thing that you require, like life will show you if that thing that you require, that standard that you have, exists or not. So for example, let's just say you were like, I want a guy whose breath does not stink in the morning. Really? So I just believe that life itself will show you that that doesn't exist. So I'm not going to be walking around here telling you, girl, you dumb, da, da, da. Now, if I was your life coach, if we were working one-on-one, yes, I would tell you, okay, so is that first of all, I would ask you, I don't tell my clients what to do. I ask them questions that guide them down to their own answers that are within. Okay. So I would ask you, okay, so when you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, does your breath stink or no? You would have to say yes. So I would say, okay, so maybe that's not a requirement that you should have. Just saying, okay? So her next statement was, some people create these standards because they put on an elaborate ruse. I don't know what that word means and who uses that word, but I think she's trying to say mask or whatever to avoid any meaningful relationships because they're afraid. Well, thank God. If you're afraid, you should not be dating. You need to heal that thing within you first that is making you afraid. People who are out here dating afraid, because it's happening, are bed to bed to bed to bed, people to people, and they're hurting people because hurt people hurt people. So you're afraid because you probably have been hurt before. Like, oh my God, I got my heart broken, which I get. Listen, no judgment, I've been there. But you need psychologists, psychiatrists, life coaches exist to help you move past that. So if you do want to be in a relationship, you can actually date on a healthy, happy level, okay? Because if you're not dating on a happy, healthy level, then your relationship won't be happy or healthy. Just saying. So good. If you're afraid and that's why you put up the fence, like, I don't want guys whose breath stinks in the morning, then great, because you shouldn't be dating anyway. I want you to heal first, okay? And then she goes on to say, so you should always keep your standards high, just not too high. Again, who is she to say? Who am I to say? Now, unless I'm your life coach, but who am I to tell you that your standards are too high? I have been told that plenty of times. I'm going to give you one more example. Okay, so I say that I won't date a guy with kids. For the record, I've dated guys with kids, and obviously it hasn't worked out. Now, I'm not saying guys with kids are bad men. Just not for me. I don't want to be instant mom. I don't have a kid. I want to have that moment of having a kid for the first time with the guy that I marry. Can I have that? So if you have offended yourself by that statement, that's on you. And people have said that to me. So you wouldn't date me because I got a kid? No, I wouldn't. It has nothing to do with you as a person, really. I don't want to do it. I am allowed to make that decision for my life, right? And then some people will say, well, you ain't gonna find a man without kids. Really? So you met everybody in this world. There's over 1 billion people on this planet. You met every dude and they all got kids. So come on. I'm 36 and no kids. There has to be my counterpart. There has to be a 38-year-old man out here without kids, a 42-year-old man out here without kids. And I don't see it as a negative. Some of y'all do. Well, he ain't got kids. What's wrong with him? You say that about me. She ain't got kids. She can't keep a man. What's wrong with her? Nothing, honey. I am just glad nothing worked out, so I didn't have to settle and marry somebody or have kids with somebody that I don't like. You know what I mean? Frankly, that sucks. It does. And I get it. Some of you have to go through that and have the baby daddy and the baby mama. And I'm pretty sure you could tell me it sucks, right? And so I'm going to hold that standard because now I know, you know what? I'm not out here dating under the umbrella as to not offend anybody because of my standards, tiptoeing around like, oh, I guess I better date him even though he got 7 kids, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. What kind of sense does that make? So you're out here dating in hopes to not hurt somebody's feelings? No, let me be the one to tell you, girl, be out here hurting everybody's feelings. Not everybody gets access to you. So keep your standards high. There is a man out there that will reach it, okay? And listen, everybody's goal in life, well, nobody's goal in life should be to get married or have kids. That's not the goal of life. Happy and healthy is, okay? So you should be dating under the umbrella of, if it's God's will for my life, then great. But if I never get married, if I never have kids, I won't die. Actually, I'll live to 107. Did you hear about that lady in the Bronx whose secret to her long life was, I never got married. That's what she said. And she liked bingo. Just operate under the umbrella of, if it happens, it happens. But I need to learn how to be happy and whole on my own. Because if you enter a relationship afraid, half empty, you're not going to be happy. So that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, tag people. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your week.